The optimal posture for your voice in standing. Okay, so if you are a yogi, we're talking about Tadasana. This is the mountain pose. And if you're not a yogi, don't worry, I have you covered. What we're looking for is grounded, stable, and open. This is what I always say, connected to posture. And how can we really align ourselves for an embodied, completely connected, empowered voice? Stand up with me so we can do this together. And if you want, just maybe you're going to nod a little bit before we get started. And I recommend doing this for the first time bare feet. If you have shoes on, take them off so that you can really feel the earth and the floor under your feet. Once you're with me, barefoot, on the floor, take a moment to bring your feet aligned under the hips. Make sure that your legs are not locked out. So we want to have a little supple bend in the knee, so we're not doing this. There's a slight buoyancy to the knee. Press down through the soles of the feet. And become aware of the points of contact between the sole of the left foot and the earth beneath you. If it helps you, lean back into the left heel and give your weight to the back of the left heel. Now slowly roll through the sole of the left foot, leaning forward to the ball of the left foot and the toes. Coming back into the middle, finding balance between the back and the front. Leaning to the outside edge of the left foot, inside edge of the left foot, and then pressing equally down through the ball of the left foot as you imagine sucking up energy through the foot up into you. So it's like we press the essence of our energy down through the foot equally into the earth. At the same time, we draw energy up through the earth. If you're a yogi, we're talking about activating your Padabandha. This is your foot lock. And just feeling that, imagining that energy of earth flowing all the way up the left foot, up into the left leg, and pulling in and around the hip. Now taking your awareness over to the right side. We're going to do the same on the right foot, pressing down through the right foot. And bringing your weight into the back, the heel of the right foot. Rolling from the back, the heel of the right foot to the ball of the feet, the toes, pressing into the ground. Coming back between the back and the front, finding the middle. Rolling to the outside edge of the right foot. Inside edge of the right foot. And pressing all the way down through the right foot as you draw the energy of earth up. Feeling that energy, imagining it coming all the way up through the right foot and pulling into the hip. Something that we so often are not aware of in everyday life is that we tend to drop into one side. So we tend to put a little bit more weight into either the left or the right side. Now this is as true as it is seated as standing. So what I want you to do here is, as you have this beautiful connection between the soles of the feet and the sense of lifting, so this pushing, earthing, grounding, and at the same time extending, lifting upwards towards the crown. See if you can check that you are equally distributing your weight. So you're equally pressing the weight between the left and the right foot, pushing into the ground. If you need to adjust something, if you need to shake something because you're noticing when I do this, there's tension that's creeping in somewhere else in my soma, in my being, then please adjust accordingly, but try to keep this complete groundedness, equal distribution of weight between the feet. Now I want you to imagine drawing that energy further up from the hip, pulling it into the lower belly and the buttock area. Something we have to be quite aware of for posture generally, and especially for embodied voice, embodied vocal posture, is checking the position of the pelvis. Now, I know that every one of us is unique, Every body is different and individual. So what I'm going to say, please respond accordingly based upon your individual possibilities and what works inside of your body. We want to have, as best as possible, a neutral pelvis. This means that the pelvis is not tilted forward. In that situation, we would have a duck butt. The pelvis is tilted forward. And we also want to make sure that the pelvis is not tilted back. Rather, we want to bring the pelvis into alignment. So for some of us, if we have the tendency to do this, we can start to activate the very low abdominal muscles to start to draw in. It's like pulling in a very low point here towards the spine to begin to activate. Another thing we can do is gently activate the butt muscles. So squeeze in your gluteus maximus. And this will help bring you, in case you have a tilted pelvis forward, a bit of a duck butt going on, it's going to help you bring that into a better alignment. So finding your alignment, checking that the pelvis is relatively neutral. As you bring awareness into the left and right hip, again, we tend to drop into one side. See if, within the range of possibility of your body, you can bring the hips into alignment, left and right aligned. From here, extending up, imagine that you're stacking vertebrae at a time, rising up through the spinal column towards the heart center. And when we have the awareness of the heart center, we want to check here that the chest is not tilting forward and it's not tilting backwards. I'm going to turn myself so you can see me on the side. We want to check that we're not forward and we're not backwards. This is the car driving posture. Bring your heart into alignment over your pelvis. We ground down through the feet, we draw energy up from the earth. We pull here, we check that the hips are aligned, pelvis is neutral, and the heart is lined over the pelvis. As we rise with our awareness up through the shoulders, we might want to roll out the shoulders in case they're a little tense, and then let them soften down onto the back body. If you need to shake out the hands, releasing any excess energy, tension, please do. Bringing awareness from shoulders up towards the head, releasing through the jaw. Letting the tongue be soft on the floor of the mouth. The tip of the tongue is gently touching the back of the bottom teeth. Bottom jaw is gently, softly rolling towards the floor. There is no teeth locking. We're not clenching. We're not sucking on our tongue. Soften through. Aligning up through the crown of the head. Imagine that this beautiful line is extending from the pelvis through the heart, all the way up towards the crown and through the top of the head towards the universe. Now, the final thing I want to point out here is the position of the chin. Sometimes, and I do see this in a lot of my one-to-one voice empowerment coaching clients, we tend to be a head with a body. So our beautiful prefrontal cortex is very active these days. Thinking, doing, assessing, analyzing, but we tend to be just here. And rather, we need to increase our entire somatic awareness to include the entire being that we are, of which the head is one part. A tendency that I see, and this causes tension, is that the head juts forward. So it's a little bit like a turtle. I think about it as being in the future and not in the now. If that is you, and it can be centimeters, it can be millimeters. We're really wanting to check here on a slight head tilt forward. Ideally, imagine that your chin is aligned over the chest. So this is a nice alignment. Chin over chest, chest over pelvis, feet grounding down, crown extending towards the sky as the shoulders are soft. None of this, none of this. Finding a grounded, stable, open posture. And taking a beautiful breath in with me here, imagining blowing out through the low belly, breathing in, breathing it out, perhaps through the mouth. Do that again with me, breathing in nice and deep, expanding the low belly. Out either through the nose or mouth as you wish. Now this time let's do one Om together. Taking a breath in with me for Om. Om. Feeling the echo of your voice in you, the energy, the movement, self-connection. And see if you can go about your day with this beautiful, grounded, stable, and open